Every morning the world starts quietly, one soft light at a time. Homes flicker awake, shops open. People take those first small steps into a brand new day. And in all of that ordinary movement, there's something kind of extraordinary. A moment worth noticing, a spark you feel before you even name it. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's small, but kindness shows up right on time. And every morning we choose to show up with you so we can look for that spark together.
Good morning. I'm Matt Roof, the Uncommon Kindness Guy, and this is Kindness Rising. Let's rise together.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, world. Welcome to Kindness Rising. It is Memorial Day here in the United States of America, and that means cookouts, garden centers, mattresses, and every other kind of appliance on sale today. But it's also surprisingly a messy and curious piece of American history. You might not know about it because Memorial Day, it has origin drama. Multiple cities claim they invented it. There are competing timelines, historical receipts, presidential declarations, and arguments over flowers. So today, we're doing a Kindness Rising deep dive into Memorial Day, lightly nerdy, historically curious, and surprisingly fascinating. Let's rise above the noise today. Welcome in everyone to Kindness Rising on this Memorial Day. We are still getting up and getting after it just like we do every single weekday morning, regardless of holiday or what's going on in our lives. 7:30 a.m. we show up here. Jess is here. People are going to start coming. Surprise, I'm here. No, is it a surprise to you that I'm here? It shouldn't be, because I am here every weekday morning, 7:30 a.m. to get started on the Mornings in the Lab Network. We're kicking it off with a little bit of hope, a little bit of fun, a little bit of light content for our day, just to get up with a positive mindset and get going. Absolutely on the ever-growing Mornings in the Lab Network right here on Kindness Rising, then over at Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends. And we are talking about Memorial Day here in the United States. Here's a quick question for you. When you think of Memorial Day, do you think of history? Yeah, it is a wet one this morning, Roseanne. Absolutely. Good morning. Welcome in. It's wet here where we are too, but it's going to dry up this afternoon. Mom, I know what you think of when you think of Memorial Day. We've had this conversation. Your favorite two things, right? Decorating gravestones and hot dogs. I appreciate everyone who's here. Kathleen the donkey, good to see you. Sully, Jess, yes. I am happy to be here, Jess. Thank you so much. We are happy. Kathleen's over there on LinkedIn. Maybe we'll have some more friends join us over there too. Good morning. Happy Memorial Day. All right. Well, most of us, when we think of Memorial Day, probably have been trained to think of long weekends and cookouts and burgers or dogs, flags, maybe a parade. But underneath it all is actually a story involving not the World War II, Sully. It goes back further than that. It's actually the Civil War, community remembrance, competing towns, and a giant historical mystery. Who actually started Memorial Day? So let's go digging, of course. But first, we want to do a who's who. We're going to do a who's who today. Who in the world? All right. As we always do, we're going to do, not as we always do, as we started doing, we're going to do a who's who. The problem is I didn't have time to do my full. Is this going to work? Man, this will be awesome if it works. Okay, nope. That didn't work the way I hoped it had. Hoped it would. All right, well, you're just going to have to take my word for it that I did a who's who. I just didn't do the little slides to go with it, but we're going to do it anyway. All right, falling apart already. I became known for showing up where suffering lived. Said that very cheerfully, despite the clue. I became known for showing up where suffering lived. This is the first clue in our Who in the World today on Kindness Rising. Who in the world I became known for showing up where there was suffering. Okay. That's it. That's the show for today. I hope you guys had a great... No. That's just the clue. That's the clue. I am really getting all over the track. Lucas Piper, good morning in. I am glad you are here. Oh, Jess, you guys are a graveyard cleaner? That's awesome. That's awesome. Yep, absolutely. My wife actually grew up in a cemetery, believe it or not. That's a whole nother story, but they do a lot of cleaning up of the cemetery too. But love it, love it. Let me kick off the music. I am so happy that so many of you have chosen to start your day here with us here on Kindness Rising. Happy Memorial Day to those who are honoring Memorial Day, and we're going to continue to learn a little bit more about Memorial Day, about the feuds around it, about how it evolved. But first, before the chosen one delivery. Good morning. How is your day? My day is going just fine. Getting up and getting after it. So thanks. Glad you're here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're out there. As we do every weekday morning here on Kindness Rising, we like to spotlight organizations that are doing good work by good people, for good people, focused on our subject. And today, of course, as we're talking about Memorial Day, we're going to kick our kindness spotlight over to the armed forces. Here comes the drop. All right, today's kindness spotlight goes out to an organization that is helping family members of fallen heroes. Yes, today it's called TAPS, the Tragedy Assistance Program. There it is. Okay. Supporting families, because it isn't about history. Memorial Day isn't only about history. It's about the families. That's it. I'm going to get caught up with this. This is TAP, an organization that feels especially appropriate for today's conversation because Memorial Day isn't only about history. It's about people, families, the lives that continue after loss. TAPS was founded back in 1994, and it supports grieving families, of course, following the death of military service members and veterans, spouses, parents, children, siblings, battle buddies, entire support communities. Absolutely. And here's what struck me. They don't just provide a hotline or hand out brochures and wish them luck. They're right inside communities, peer mentoring, grief counseling, youth programs, connections between people who understand a very specific kind of grief. Many of us can only try to imagine because grief can be incredibly isolating, and sometimes kindness looks like something very simple. You don't have to carry this alone. So that's it. That's it. This is Memorial Day. We are talking about TAPS, an appropriate organization for there's their helpline. They do have their impacts. They are out there. All right. Thank you so much for joining us here on Kindness Rising. Atomic Tyrant. Okay, I'm sorry you don't think it's relevant. It should be relevant. It's relevant to everyone. Relevant to all of us out here. But thanks for joining, checking it out. Maybe you might be surprised in our relevance and how much fun we have here at Kindness Rising in this community, in this chat. What are you up to? We talk about it all here. Atomic Tyrant. All right. Memorial Day. It's okay if you're not in America. You can learn where are you? Where are you coming in from? We are welcoming of all. Here we are. And we're going to do our next segment. We're going to move on and keep going with our Memorial Day theme. A little bit different direction today because it's Memorial Day. Wait, that happened today? Is all about Memorial Day, the deep dive into the origins, the claims, and the holiday turf wars that started it all. Oh, Australia. Welcome in, Atomic Tyrant. So what is it like? 8 o'clock at night out there? Over there? Down there? Down under? We've had some other Australians join us. We've had some really great programs. Really great guests and people who've joined us from Australia. We welcome all. Tell us what's going on. And you can learn something. You're almost 10 years old? Is that your age? Oh, almost 10 at night. Almost 10 years old. Almost 10 at night. I'm such an idiot. I asked you what time it was. You answered, and then I changed the subject. All right. There you go. Kathleen's out there in Sacramento, California, telling us where she's at. 7:41 a.m. here on the East Coast. Must be bright and early 4 or so. Oh, I'm 11 years off that age. 21. All right, buddy. Welcome in. I'm an idiot. Oh, dude. I didn't know. Look, see, look at that. Look at Lucas, meet Lucas Bleeper. I don't know who Lucas. I can't. What's your name? Lucas and Atomic Tyrant. You're now buddies from Australia. You guys know each other? You're from the same place. Maybe you guys have run into. I love that when people are like, "Oh, you're from blah blah blah." You know, so and so. Sometimes you do if it's a small enough town, but Australia seems like a large enough place that maybe they don't know each other. Oh, see that? You guys are going to get into it. That'll be hysterical if you're like freaking neighbors. All right. Anyway, the original name of Memorial Day here in the United States of America was actually Decoration Day, which honestly sounds like a craft store holiday. All right, let's decorate. Yeah, all right. Michael's Decoration Day, sponsored by Michael's. And I don't even know. Are there any more craft stores? Hobby Lobby. But the idea was simple. People decorating soldiers' graves with flowers, flags, and wreaths. And after the Civil War, we had a few graves around town here. A few graves around. Yeah, absolutely. But that's when things got interesting because multiple places in the United States and America basically said, hey, guess what? I invented this. And that's where things get interesting. Let's meet the contenders of who invented Memorial Day. Actually, this one is the one that's officially recognized as the birthplace of Memorial Day and has a personal connection to me. I drive by it frequently. It is Waterloo, New York, officially the birthplace of Memorial Day. They have documented evidence of their celebration on May 5th, 1866, community-wide observances, businesses closing, flags lowering, formal celebrations. But here's a little twist. 100 years later, it's not really the twist. Here's the thing. It was exactly 100 years later that Congress and President Lyndon Johnson declared Waterloo the official birthplace of Memorial Day. Imagine winning a historical argument over a century later. That is elite patience. But here's the thing. Here's my personal connection. I lived in Waterloo or right nearby, basically Waterloo, Geneva, New York, in the Finger Lakes. And I've been to the Waterloo Memorial Day celebration, and it is something. It is something. You never know. So, yeah, Waterloo is a cool place. If you ever have a chance to go there, I highly recommend you go there on Memorial Day. It's great. They have if you're a fisher person, Seneca Lake has a Memorial Day fishing derby. You can check that out in upstate New York too. I'm now apparently a tourism promoter for the Finger Lakes of New York. Civil War graves in Kentucky, I bet. Ooh, reenactments and battlefields. There's a lot of those where I am here, upstate New York and in Pennsylvania as well. Right along the battlefields. I used to cross the Mason-Dixon line on a regular basis and drive through Gettysburg, probably the most famous of the Civil War which is about 3.5 hours from here. But when I lived in D.C. and drove between upstate New York and D.C., I was frequently in the Gettysburg area. Always fascinating and can be a bit humbling visiting those places. Columbus, Georgia. Columbus, Georgia is our second candidate who claims, saying, hold on there, Waterloo. Supporters point to an organized memorial efforts led by a women's group in the same year, 1866. A woman named Mary Ann Williams helped encourage communities to decorate soldiers' graves. Remember, this is before the internet. So this is happening in Columbus, Georgia. At the same time, it's happening in Waterloo, New York. And it wasn't like, hey, guys, let's pick today as the day to put things on graves. I don't know. People say that Columbus, Georgia, it had that spreading tradition nationally. Sorry. They were the ones who got credit for popularizing the movement. There's a strong case there. And then, of course, there's Charleston, South Carolina dropping in. In 1865, formerly enslaved Black Americans report organizing a large remembrance ceremony honoring the Union soldiers buried in a former Confederate prison camp. So, enslaved Black Americans claiming in 1865 to have honored the Union soldiers. Thousands attended parades, flowers, songs, and public remembrance. And some historians argue this may represent one of the earliest Memorial Day-like observances. All right. That's pretty cool. All right, and the last one, the last of our candidates, because this is getting a little yakety-yacky here. Boylesburg. Thanks, Atomic. I appreciate the sub. You're the man. Come on back. I come here, so whatever time it is there, 10 you said? Not 10 years old, 10 a.m. No. I come here at 10 o'clock your time every weekday morning, 7:30 a.m. where I am. This is a morning show here, but I don't care what time it is where you are, as long as you come in, learn something, have some fun along the way, get involved in the who's who every day and the wait that happened. This is a little bit of a different kind of episode because we are focusing strictly on Memorial Day. That's not what we do here every day. Sometimes we talk about Mr. T and we pity the fools who don't understand. No. All right, Mr. T. Thanks, dude. I appreciate it. Let's keep rolling. Though. I'll do another who's who. Zuzurahim. I'm waving to you, too. Hello. Don't forget to hit the ding, says Jess. And yes, we love it when you do. Love it when you do. But here's our second who's who clue. I'm a little disorganized. Another clue. I remember our first clue. Our first clue is this person became known for showing up where suffering lived. The second clue, before founding something recognized around the world, they brought aid to America's bloodiest conflict. Soldiers of America's bloodiest conflict before founding something recognized around the world. That's our second clue for today's Who in the World? Who in the world? All right. And, I was going to talk about Boylesburg. I had to get back to it. Boylesburg. Small town, big claim. Local tradition says women decorated soldiers' graves as early as 1864. It's like a reverse auction. No, we did it in 1864. I did it in 1862. I can name that tune in 2 notes. Small town, big claim, but before several other contenders. The proof debates, you're low-key learning stuff. Cool. All right, cool. Need to go. All right, Lucas. Take care. I hope you come back, buddy. Come back 7:30 my time, 10 a.m. 10 p.m. your time, whatever. Yeah, we'll learn some stuff together. It's cool. What are you interested in, Atomic? What's your subject? We talk about everything here. We do. We really do. We can talk about whatever you're up to and interested in. And there's interesting people who like to come here every day. So that's it. Boalsburg thinks they did it in 1864. Charleston says 1865. Columbus and Waterloo 1866. But Waterloo got the full recognition. You're a zoologist. Now we're gonna get going, buddy. That's freaking awesome. That's awesome. Like a zoologist in a zoo or a zoologist in like you're out there in the world, in nature, in the wild, dealing with animals. That's awesome. And atomics philosophy. So we've got philosophy and zoology. I love it, man. That's awesome. We'll have to. You're in the field, man. Yes, you are. I love it. Okay, that's the terminology. See, now I'm learning something. I just said, are you out there in the wild? You out there in the bush? You deep in the bush, up to your waist? No, seriously, that's awesome. In the field, cool. And I'm sure there's fascinating animals. I'd love to learn more and hear more. There it is. Study of mammalogy. Okay, so it's a study of mammals, not the study of mammaries. That was a joke. That was a terrible joke. Terrible. But no, seriously, awesome. Mammals. So mammals specific to your region in general. What are you doing? You out there tagging animals, tracking them? That is awesome. I love it. All the more perspectives and interest. All right. Time is a flying. All right. So let me move. While you guys chit chat over there, I'm going to move into our kindness compass because I always like to give everybody just a little something. We talk a little bit. 5 simple ways to approach Memorial Day with a little extra curiosity. It could be Memorial Day. It could be anything historical, right? Number 1, learn one story. Listen, our buddies are out there. Everybody's Atomic's out there. He just said he learned one story. He's done it. Yeah, so learn one story. One person, one life, one name. I learned one name, Atomic Tyrant. He's learning my name. No, but seriously, historically. Nice, Sully. That's cool. Why don't you get back into that habit? Habit. That would be cool. Do you still have your stuff, and are you still using it, displaying it? That's awesome. All right. Number 2, explore your local connection. Might be hard for you, Atomic Tyrant or Lucas, who's gone, but explore a connection closer to Memorial Day history than you realize. We have Memorial Day activities here. There was a lot of activity here during the Sullivan campaign for the war historians because we're the confluence of 2 major rivers in New York, the Susquehanna River and the Shenango River. So any kind of boat travel was easy for people to travel through here. And Sullivan came through and ripped through the Haudenosaunee Indian, whatever, all that stuff. Anyway, fascinating stuff. And we do that. We visit the memorials, the monuments, and the cemeteries, not heaviness, curiosity, or giving, as Jess does. That's awesome. Visiting cemeteries and decorating. My mother goes and decorates our families, including my father, who's a veteran of the United States Army during the Korean conflict. And it's amazing. Do it. All right. I'm scratching my eye. All right. ChatGPT recommends that we read In Flanders Fields, a short poem with huge cultural impact. I've never read it, but maybe that'll be my new thing for today. And number 5, just pause for a moment. Take a moment. 3 p.m. is technically the national moment of remembrance, but just take a moment. Take 30 seconds to just give a little bit of thought to those who gave so much for us. And that is it. That is it, my friends. Oh, we're going to have some fun with this group. Atomic, please come back. I love your areas of interest. Any kind. That's what we do here. We want people who want to talk about their interesting things. They want to lean into their curiosities, the what's what. Scandinavian history, I know zero about it, so maybe you can help me learn, or we can learn together. American history, I know enough to be dangerous about. Herpetology with reptile. Oh, this is awesome. My sister formerly owned a reptile company. Sort of a reptile company. She and her boyfriend raised bearded dragons, bred them, and whatever. Went to shows, and very fascinating animals, those bearded dragons. She still has a few in her house, but they gave up on the breeding part. She also was a clinical psychologist with a PhD and all these other things, but she decided to breed bearded dragons and go to shows. All right. Okay. Anyway, that's where we're at. We are winding up here. Oh, we still got to do our last clue and give our answer. Give our answer. Last clue for our who in the world. Who in the world is out there? Really? Atomic Giant's backyard is covered in bearded dragons. Wow. All right. Last clue. Yes. All right, Jess, I know you want the last clue. Here it is. Last clue. So our first clue was known for showing up where suffering lived. Clue number 2, before founding something recognized around the world, brought aid to America's bloodiest conflict. And last clue, my work began the true humanitarian relief efforts in America. The very first humanitarian relief efforts in America, known across the world. Do people know who this is? I know because I drove on the highway dedicated to her on a regular basis. Wow, that's a nice backyard. Atomic Tyrant. Kathleen Byram's popping in with interest in herpetology too. So from LinkedIn. So we've got a couple of a couple of reptile interest people. Yeah, let's rock and roll. Anyway, does anybody know the answer? Was this one too obscure? I became known for showing up where suffering lived. Founded something recognized across the world, and that thing that she recognized was the world's largest organization set up for humanitarian relief, or at least in America. I shouldn't say the world's, that's terrible. Biased by me, but the largest in America, largest organization for humanitarian relief. Which is the American Red Cross, the founder of the American Red Cross, a humanitarian leader. Oh, here comes Jerry Ginger popping in. He's going to know the answer. Jerry, who founded the American Red Cross? A highway named after a woman? Exactly. So you heard the she. I'm dropping clues. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 0. Anyone know the name Clara Barton? Clara Barton, the Civil War nurse, humanitarian leader, founder of the American Red Cross. Tough one today. Wow. All right. And the Clara Barton Parkway is in Washington, D.C. It's a major in and out, what do they call it? Whatever. My brain is not working on this word, but whatever. It's a major road in Washington, D.C., in and out outside of the Beltway, crossing across the Beltway. All right. There it is. I can't believe we did it. We brought today's episode, Memorial Day episode, showing up as we do every single day. And it's 8 o'clock. That means we have to get on over to Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends on YouTube, LinkedIn, X, all over all the channels. Mornings in the Lab with Keith, John, and friends starting right here at 8 o'clock. Here it is. They'll wind it right up. Memorial Day. It's not one clean, tidy origin story. It's flowers, Civil War grief, competing cities, historical arguments, federal paperwork. Okay, you get it. Human beings just trying to figure out how to honor people who mattered. It was messy, complicated, and very human. And that's the curiosity lesson. History isn't always neat, but it becomes a lot more meaningful when we get interested in enough to look a little deeper, just like Atomic Tyrant did with us today, just like Kathleen and Jess and Jerry and Sully and Keith and the whole crew that comes here every day. We just keep growing and growing and growing. Happy Memorial Day, all. Get on over to join Keith, John, and friends. Thanks for rising above the noise with me today. Come on back tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m. Eastern, right here on Kindness Rising. And until then, please do this. Stay uncommon and stay kind.